Donnelly.
Hello.
Got to start with a handshake.
Hello.
How are you?
Very good.
Yes. You've arrived in good time.
I've arrived in loads of time, yeah.
It's amazing.
I know,
yeah.
I thought, I told you I might be late. And ended up getting here an hour earlier than intended.
Earlier than you thought? Wow.
Yeah, I thought the Olympic traffic would be...
in these tough times, you thought it might be tricky, but...
Yeah, I thought, I was, the way the news was talking about the start of the Olympic traffic, I thought it was going to be carnage. Didn't see a single Olympian.
But not so bad. Oh, right, have you not? Because,
No,
because you live in London. Are you sensing the hype?
Just out of London, but I'm in London all the time, so but I haven't... I'm not seeing the hype, I'm seeing all the warning signs. Every train, tube station, every road has like signs up saying don't drive here, turn round now. And the tubes have signs from like the weirdest, like from the outskirts of London, every tube station has signs to like this direction to the Olympics.
Oh right,
yeah.
Wow.
And then but it's not to the Olympics. It's basically telling you to get on a tube to go into central London, and then you'll find the Olympics.
I thought it was have like warning signs, like this is going to be unpleasant.
Well, there is. There has been posters up for about 6 months saying, like, during the Olympics, is there another way you can get to work? And it's like, you told me not to drive or get the tube. So, no, I'm not going to walk into central London.
Yeah, buses would be bad as well.
Yeah. And also, if there's going to be loads of traffic, you don't want to ride a bike.
Oh, no, exactly. At the best of times, you don't want to be riding a bike in London, really. No, I wouldn't have thought.
I've got a little motorbike that I take in sometimes. And yeah, it's fine, but I wouldn't want to do it if it was crazy traffic. So just end up getting...
No, absolutely. Yeah, killed, indeed. Well, you were tucking into some food, so I didn't want to... It was quite a little banquet you had there. It was quite impressive.
The old tobacco factory meze platter.
Oh, right.
Which she brought over and then went, is it just you? I didn't realise I'd ordered basically a sharing platter. And,
did you finish it?
I didn't finish it, no, because there was a couple of bits in it I just didn't know what they were. I tried them, and even then couldn't work out what they were. And they weren't tasty or not tasty, they were just like a thing.
So you had no conviction to finish those?
Yeah, I thought there's no point. I'm not going to finish something that I can't confirm
taste.
what it is.
Well.
And some I would finish it if it was lovely, but it's just got nothing going on.
But I mean, at least you had the options. At least you had the choices.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're here to preview your show. Now, I did look up the name, but
you've forgotten
I think I've forgotten it.
It's called Carl Donnelly, Different Gravy.
Yes, now that's it, because it's about your autobiography.
It is.
It?
I'm reading excerpts from my
that is written
unpublished homemade autobiography, which is called Different Gravy.
So, honestly, was the autobiography written after you decided, or
it was? What's the little bird? Sorry, that mess.
It's all right.
It was weird. It's an idea I've wanted to do as a stand-up show for a while, and this year I thought, you know what, I'm actually going to bloody do it. So I agreed to it. Put all the blurb out. Like you've got to sign up. You've got to like put in, submit your idea to the Fringe brochure, like quite early on. So did that in like February, and then I was already had the ideas kicking around of what the sort of excerpts, and what I wanted to talk about in the book. But I didn't start writing it until after I'd done that, so I started writing it afterwards.
But that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
To actually have an idea before you, I mean, that's almost a rarity, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because I've never done it before. Normally my shows are like, I've got a very vague description.
Was it Carl Donnelly?
Last week was Carl Donnelly 3, Carl Donnelly, which had no meaning other than it was a silly title, and I had no idea what I was going to talk about until June, basically. Whereas this year, I thought I'll try it for once. I'll try starting from a point of like, no, this is what I want to do. Started writing it, and it's been fun actually. It's different. I mean, I think it's a bit of a weird change of pace. I'm still coming to terms with the fact that I'm used to just standing up and just talking, and like at any point, if you're doing stand up, like my style of comedy is quite sort of chatty. So if a joke doesn't fly, I've always got that backup of sort of like jumping into another bit or going into the crowd and chatting, whereas when you're reading from a book, and it's split into book, stand up, like throughout the show. When you're reading, you've just got to like totally have good convictions. Just read. It doesn't like you can't worry about if some people might not be finding that a bit funny, because you can't just stop reading.
It's your book,
exactly.
You've got to give it justice.
Totally.
So it's the end of the trilogy, because it was. I mean,
Well, because this is basically the start of a new chapter, to use the phrase. Yeah. So I did 3 stand-up shows in a row, and this is like my 4th show, so I thought I'd do something different.
So less playing around with the audience, is it?
Totally, yeah. I'm in the previews. I've been trying to not talk to the audience at all.
Oh, really?
But not, I mean, I address that they're there. I'm not just like, I'm not going to look away from them, like they disgust me or something. But I normally start, like all my other shows have started with 10 minutes of chatting to them and finding out who's there. That's sort of what that's my natural instinct, whereas I'm trying to, this year I just thought, you know what, I'm going to override all my instincts, and I'm going to try and have a show that is, what I wanted to do as well was have a show that on paper would work. Because normally my stand-up on paper looks ridiculous. It doesn't work unless I'm saying it out loud. Whereas I'd like something that somebody theoretically could just actually read and go, oh, this is quite funny.
So you missing the audience-y bits at all?
Not really, no. It's a nice, refreshing to do something a bit different. Like,
I suppose because you've done it for such a long time.
Yeah. Exactly. It's quite a, I don't know, it's sort of, it is kind of cheating. It's fine, in circuit gigs and, when you're not doing a show that's like a thing. It's like, I think it's, it's your easy way in, isn't it? If you go on, you're like sort of, instantly gets people to kind of like you. If you're like, oh look, he's chatting to us. It's a bit, it's harder to start from the point of like, I'm not talking to you guys. I'm here to talk. You lot listen. So it's sort of, I found it's more of a challenge. That's why I'm quite enjoying it.
You're the funnies,
Yeah, just like, look guys, I've been funny for years now. I've got the confidence.
Let's buckle down.
Just to commit to something.
So it's more theatrical, is it? It's sort of almost a piece, or
I don't want to sound like it's some amdram nonsense, but there is, like, the bits I'm reading are standalone excerpts from my life. They're still stories, so they're no different to what I normally do stand-up. But I've written them in a style of an autobiography, a very over-the-top celebrity style autobiography. So it's written as if I'm sort of a superstar. I've written it in the sense that this is actually a celebrity autobiography people would buy. So it's very arrogant, and like the language is really hammed up.
Yeah.
So it is a bit more theatrical than normally my stand-up is just how I talk. Whereas this is not how I talk. This is how I I think it's how I think. I think I talk better than I do. I'm just, I've got a South London drawl, whereas when I write, I sound like I've just walked out of Cambridge.
It's very poetic.
Oh, it's lovely.
Yeah.
It's a great way of speaking.
But yeah, totally different discipline, writing a thing.
Totally.
Have you ever done that?
No, not at all.
No.
I've always wanted to.
It's always been sort of in the moment. And,
I mean, I've always wanted to do it, and it's something that I've really enjoyed. Because it is sort of like, I feel like when in these excerpts I'm saying the things that I couldn't get away with on stage. Like it's doing stand-up wise, because some of them are horrible, and some of them are totally made up on stage. Whenever I do stories, like I have to I can't deliver them properly if they're not true, because I don't have that. I'm not very good at it. So you see some stand-ups and you watch them, you're like, I think you're making that up.
But they can deliver it with enough gumption.
Whereas I don't have that. I've always had to have it like as much based in truth as possible. But in the book, there's something like when you're writing it, you can just go to town. They're all sort of based in truth, apart from one of them, which is basically I've also predicted the future, because I thought at 30 is a bit young to stop the book.
Yeah.
So I've written it up to 40. Because it's a bit of a weird idea, but the whole basic idea is I've written it as if I'm a 40-year-old famous comedian who's like written this book because it's about famous people now get asked to write books when they're not famous enough. So it's sort of from.
So you're properly famous in this book.
I don't know. It doesn't really tell you how famous I am, but it obviously suggests I'm famous enough that I would warrant writing a successful autobiography. So that the end of the book is totally made up because I don't know what's going to happen.
That's allowed. Yeah. But is it weird reading on stage? Because I suppose with it's
very different. Yeah,
you turn into kind of when you're young and you've got a speech that you've written, and you just look at the words. You've still got to perform. You have,
That's what I'm still. That's the one bit I'm still getting to grips with. Like I only recorded it for the first time. Like I recorded a preview. Like normally I get all the previews go up and running, so it's getting to the point where I'm happy with it and it's funny. And then I'll record it to listen back and see, right, what's the final bits I need to work out.
Okay.
So I recorded a preview I did last night, listened back, And the one thing that was totally wrong was how I was reading. I was reading it so fast. I was reading it how I speak.
Right,
and
yeah.
so it almost, like, I wasn't reading it, like I wasn't fully committing to these readings. Whereas if you're reading something, you need to slow it down and make it dramatic. So that's what I'm doing tonight. Drama, guys.
And that's you've committed to that now. So right, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. So tonight will either be the best one yet,
but you might
be a car
overrun
crash.
because you've, you know.
Yeah, I have cut stuff out as well though. Today I cut a few little bits that I thought didn't need to be there.
Well, yeah, it needs to be done. Anyway, Carl, we're going to get you to make something out of plasticine.
Right.
That's okay.
Okay. Is this a regular thing?
It's a slightly new thing. So there's your plasticine.
Yeah.
Ben's got a blob of plasticine.
Okay.
And I've got a blob of plasticine. We have a bit of time out. We're going to make today. I started trying to make a pun on the person's name.
To do with plasticine?
Yeah, to make. So for well, not necessarily to do with their name, but for Rhys Darby,
Yeah.
he had This Way to the Spaceship. We made spaceships.
Okay.
And for this one, I think I couldn't really think of anything. So we're going to make some like beetles or like bugs.
Bugs.
Or I will accept spider. You know,
Okay.
that sort of crawling
Right.
insect thing. Okay.
Okay.
So, Carl, you're done.
Yes.
These are our creations.
Yeah.
So this one's yours.
Yes.
The ladybirds.
It's
Take
the
a look.
ladybirds.
Have you, what were you kind of? I mean, because you said to me that you did A-level art. So what was what's the motivation behind this?
I thought, in terms of shape, it's a very easy one, isn't it? It's basically a sort of a dome type creature, and rather than go for spots, which I imagine the spots are flat,
Yeah.
but I've gone for I've made them.
Expressed spot
I've
through
expressed colour via
Yeah, you
via
have.
form.
You have through sort of shading and stuff. It's very impressive. Nice and a nice
I don't know if that's.
chunk.
I don't know if they have those. That was a guess.
I think they probably do, but it's probably in the little head that pokes out,
Yeah.
isn't it? I would guess. I mean, I'm not a biologist.
We have.
This one's Ben's,
It's very good.
which is brilliant.
What is it?
What is it?
I just realised.
An ant.
I was going to say because I was
an
trying
ant
to
with
work
big
out.
legs.
Yeah, the legs are way off. The scale has gone to pieces. If you'd done smaller legs, that would have been very good.
Right.
Yeah, it's an
Which is
Olympic
fine.
themed dance. Alright, okay. And you've gone for a spider.
It is a spider. Well, you had to ask me what it was, and
Yeah.
I was shocked.
Well,
It's amazing, don't you think? That is actually, while I was making that, I thought, this is pretty good.
yeah.
What are
So good,
your
it set off an
feelings?
alarm.
No!
In the venue.
But it's got the human eyes, you see. Human eyes and a human... He's in a puddle,
Right.
and these are his eyebrows.
So it's sort of like, have you seen The Thing?
The Thing.
The famous John Carpenter horror film?
I've heard of it, I've never
At
seen
one
it.
point, I don't want to ruin it for anyone, but one of the characters, basically the thing sort of takes over your body and you become this monster. And one of them, the head comes off and his head spawns spider legs and
that's
it chases
him.
other people.
Ah, look at that. If we put them here, so that they're there for the rest of the interview. Now, I was going to ask you, I don't know if you're asked a lot about the alarm's still going.
I know.
I don't know whether to be worried. I think it's alright.
How does it sound? Is
Okay, Carl.
that alarm very off-putting? No. Alright.
Okay, we'll battle through it.
Good.
You might have been asked it a lot, but because you had a radical change of appearance.
Yes.
Now, was that last year? Or was that...
Yeah, it was about last year. It was. It sort of coincided with me getting near to my 30th birthday.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because I'd spent my 20s and my first sort of, what that had been 6 years of stand-up, like from like day one, like you being in like proper open spot and stuff. With I'd always had long curly hair, big tinted glasses, and I was sort of looked a bit weird.
So when you were doing the early gigs, you had that look, did you? You were...
Yeah, no, I always looked weird. Like but it wasn't one of them things where like you see some comics who have like a sort of on-stage persona, they look a bit weirder. Like, no, it was just how I always thought I looked like that all the time. Mm-hmm. And so I had it throughout my 20s, and then last year as I started getting near to 30, I just thought it's ridiculous. So I sort of suddenly one day sort of caught sight of myself and was like, you need to look like a normal grown-up. Like, just, it was no cynical reasons, no comedy reasons. It was away from comedy. It was just you need to look like a 30-year-old man.
To change, yeah. But I just wondered how.
Still, but I still look a bit quirky. But I couldn't ever just shave my head, get contact lenses or something, because I don't know I wear contacts. But I still I just pared it all down. Okay,
it's a limited version,
yeah.
Because it's still curly.
Yeah, it's still curly, and it's not sort of classic short back and sides. And the glasses are still quite
prominent.
Prominent is the right word. So I just thought I'd smile it up a bit and just be a bit more presentable.
Well, it's just I was thinking, because if you're a comedian and you're always in the sort of public eye, to do a thing like that, you have to change all your publicity shots. It's kind of turns into quite a task.
Yeah, I had to talk about it on stage, even though I've not got a profile that it would be a massive change. I imagine Michael McIntyre grew dreadlocks tomorrow. That would be something that would be it would be massive. Yeah, it would be amazing. Start doing a character, just basically him with a Jamaican accent.
But he came back with just a really odd act.
Yeah, just like really, that's what I mean. Like that would be massive. Like, and all these like massively famous comedians would be a big thing. But yeah, the main thing I had was it took out a part of my act, because I used to have to address it. I used to have to talk about how I looked, because I'd walk on stage and I'd have this massive mop hair and tinted glasses. Who has tinted glasses inside? So, but I just always did for some reason. And so I had to talk about it. It was like the first 5 minutes of my act were always me talking about my image. And so when I got rid of it, it was like, what am I going to talk about now?
Getting.
Well, yeah, it lost, and it also lost. I used to walk on, and people would, yes, alarm has gone off. I used to walk on stage, and some gigs, 2 minutes, people would just laugh for the first 2 minutes because I looked so weird. And so it took away that comfort blanket of being able to get a laugh just for walking to the mic, which is good. Again, that's something that I wanted to get rid of. I was sort of relying on that.
Again, that's sort of moving out of your comfort zone. You sort of did that last time, and now you're doing.
That's it. I think I've done comedy for long enough now. I just think I'm trying to not rely on things. I want to make it a bit more difficult for myself. Not that it's easy; it's really hard. But I just don't want to. I don't want to go for the easiest route of getting a laugh.
Right? Yeah. So you're going to go into surrealism next year, maybe?
Yeah, next year. It's going to be very strange.
Strap yourselves in.
I want to do that Rasta character that Ty's banging on about.
I mean, because you said the new show, it's still anecdotal, and you're still sticking with that.
I'm still doing stories, and in between, I'm still sort of, the stand-up is normally stories that sort of back up what I've read. Yeah. So it is. It's not. I mean, the stand-up bits aren't a massive jump from what I used to do. So there's no. I'm not suddenly going to become like a deadpan one-liner merchant.
But did you try a few other different things?
I think so. Early on, I was always, not different things, but I when I was new, I was quite edgy. It's horrible. Because I didn't know anything. I wasn't one of these people that grew up watching stand-up and always wanted to be it. I was one of these people that
came too late.
I'd never been to a stand-up gig until I was 21, and I walked into it and saw it, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And off the back of that, I've decided to sort of start going more regularly. And over the course of 6 months, that was when I thought, right, I want to do this. So I went into stand-up with very little knowledge of what stand-up was. And obviously in that meantime, I started listening to the big comics, but they were all American ones. And I think it just by coincidence, all the people I was listening to were very sort of edgy. And so I thought, right, that's what comedy is. That's all I knew.
Lots of swearing.
Yeah, loads of. So I started out and I was I was swearing. I was doing rape gags, and I thought that is what you're meant to do, and it was working. It was doing really well, and I started I moved up into getting paid gigs and longer sets quite quick doing all that. But then just about a year, 18 months in, I was just I started seeing enough comedy in the meantime that I was there's actually loads of different types. I don't have to go out and make ironic racist jokes. So I totally just overhauled my set to be more about my sense of humour rather than about what I thought it should be.
Yeah,
I've done it once before, I suppose, but still the style was the same. A lot of it was
dude.
Yeah. It was like, rape joke, guys. Yeah, so it wasn't like I wasn't going out and like doing horrible, like I'm gonna rape somebody.
It wasn't really nasty. Yeah, which you can get, but
yeah, some people do it. I mean, it's not what I do. And,
anyone coming to see? You're very.
I'm still prone to the odd, like sort of this weird. This show, like because I'm writing excerpts, some of them are quite horrible, but they're not like they're about me. So they might, the subject matter might be a bit horrible at times, but the intention is never to offend. It's never like the language isn't there to offend. There's nothing. So it's all actually, it's like if you read a book, you might read a book about something offensive, but it doesn't offend you as much as if somebody's on stage just saying horrible things because you're taking it in your own terms, aren't you?
There's that immediacy because they're absolutely.
And even though I'm reading it, it's still I think there is that slight gap where I'm not chucking it at their face.
Yeah.
It's pretentious. I didn't realise how pretentious my show this series. Oh my god, what have I become? My dad will. He's not going to see it anyway, but. He'd just be like, what are you bloody doing? Say something funny.
Now, are there any big things coming up for you? Are there any exciting...
I don't know. There's always like little bits kicking around.
Yeah.
But
is it the concentration is...
Edinburgh is always like that thing where you sort of forget anything. You can't think of anything after Edinburgh. Like, you sort of... There might be little things or like quite exciting things that might be happening later, but you get rid of them all and just think, right, let's get through that month. And then I can get excited about anything else because otherwise you just it's such a long month. You need to be focused on it.
Focused down.
Yeah. So it is. I mean, it's a proper endurance test. I know it sounds ridiculous. Like when people might have proper jobs and very difficult sort of hours and things like that. But there's something about being in Edinburgh for a month you're only doing one show a day. But that sort of Groundhog Day thing kicks in, and you're doing late shows, and you're trying not to get pissed every day, and it just becomes this sort of. You wake up every day just like a zombie, sort of can't do on. And I don't know why. It's embarrassing to sort of moan about it, but it is something you've really got to not let eat you up.
Yeah, a bit relentless.
It is relentless, yeah. I think it's because do you know what it is? I think it's because comics naturally, obviously, we tour around. We do different gigs in different places every night. If you're a big comic, you tour to different theatres. If you're a normal circuit comic, you go from comedy club to comedy club. Like one weekend you might be there, one weekend there. So throwing you in one place and saying like you're doing a gig here every night for a month just messes with your whole sort of daily routine.
Yeah.
And it sort of messes up your whole frame of mind.
Well, best of luck with it. Cheers. We will let you escape. Ending handshake shot.
Yes,
thank you very much for the beetle.
It's a ladybird.
Ladybird.
Beetle. It looks like a beetle. It does look like a beetle. A beetle with spots. But yeah, it's a masculine ladybird. It's a lady man.
Lady man.
No, man bird.
Man bird. There we go.
Guy bird. It's a man bird.
Great.
Cheers, guys.